Godspeed. I'd like to read just two poems. The first poem is called Golgotha, which is, if you recall, in the New Testament where Jesus was crucified. And it's basic. So, Golgotha. Branches, a crown of thorns, a shower of tears, the eyes shattered like glass into a world of molecular lives that race off on their own until they dissipate like snowflakes, until the speed burns them away. There rise the fingers of a millennium's worth of hands, the bones washed up to the surface like so many trees crossing paths, so many voices missing their intended, heard and misunderstood by strangers, sculpting new monuments, new edifices of magnificent stature, founded on the misapprehended, skyward, full of mythological muscle. The celebration of the slime and mortar man, the banker, making deal after deal, taking the lives of those who don't yet exist and creating their futures. Everyone walking around out of a fear that has no choice over its job, its life work but to breathe and carry out. The branches smack against one another. How is your journey of lies? And how do you like this treason that you pit against yourself? A mutiny led by the self, disguised as another. Disguised? See? So clever that even you think there are two. What are you looking at, if not yourself? The next piece sounds like a religious fanatic here. It's called Sinner Saint. And there are two voices in this. The first, well, you have to figure out who's the sinner and who's the saint, but there are two distinctly different voices, and you'll know as you hear them what the different voices are. First voice. At the plateaus I shrug at how each climbed through. I feel the weight of the upward toil, but I arrive no higher, only at the vast and same place I thought left long ago. I gaze around me full circle and collect the residue of confidence from repeatedly being the stranger and creating myself a home again. My corridor of voices agrees to find a place to sit and observe, to consume in small doses the river Lethe. We summon the past to move one foot after the other, familiar with the gait, the stride of the newborn, rich with the knowledge of having lived it all before. We lift the cup that we know is mother's better milk, and liquefy the vision before us, making ancient history fuzzy and therefore funny, making trials and resurrections fine for those who want them, cloudy and like bathwater for those of me who reject the repetition of this ritual. This is not Lethe. It is Acheron. It is the river Styx they consume and swear by. The women arrive. There is his daughter, whom he spends this lifetime with as husband, and there his sister, his mother, also wives and daughters during other times who've returned again and again. Their relationships change, though the faces remain the same. What is this feeling that is no stranger, that readily scalds the flesh with whiskey? Who is this champion with answers from a committee of veterans, solutions from war-torn, indifferent survivors who have suffered both life and death and make no distinctions? We sit with pains in the muscles and joints and roll our eyes across the landscape. Yes, we are going to do something this time. We will listen to the sages. We will go where there are no words to hear, to warn or guide us, no books to defend or explain us. We will look closer this time, forget our plans, and have no expectations. We will forget ourselves, forgive and forget. No, no, you'll not be without me. Were it not for me, you'd have nothing. It's because of me that you have sought a master to master yourself. It was because I took you by the hand or carried you into your sins. All those times you missed the mark and violated your flesh, deceived your intelligence. I was the teacher. I have been your guide and not the other. The other has nothing to do with this world. I am the master here, and because of me you will arrive at the other shore, no matter how long it takes. You learn to hate me, and so inspired passion. You learn to detect me, and so awakened your intuition. You had to pay my consequences, and so acquired endurance. You learned the ways I operate, and so gained wisdom. You learned how to use me, and so exercised the powers of a god. You learned to accept defeat, and so gained humility. You witnessed the life beyond death, and witnessed immortality. You watched your own resurrection, and so gained power. You used your wisdom against me, and so nourished your spirit. You returned to embrace me, and exhibited your fearlessness. You fell beneath my powers, and strengthened your endurance. You left me in the shadows, and thus showed your ability to fly. Fancy words have never saved you, and so you began to understand. As much as you learn, it is your duty to deny me. Think of me. Until you understand the sun, you will not understand the Father. Thank you. That was Ronci.